What would your ideal world be like? A world without hunger and poverty? A world where all your dreams come true and you can have anything you ever wish for? I'm sure most of you here have ideals, and so do I. My ideal world is where all people are treated equally, irrespective of their gender, religion, race, age, and so on. Which brings us to the topic I am going to talk about today: gender equality. So, first things first, what is gender? Gender means the fact of being male or female, especially when considered with reference to social and cultural differences, not differences in biology. Then, how about gender equality? Gender equality means the state of having the same rights, status, and opportunities as others, regardless of one's gender. The United Nations see it as a fundamental human right, and also a necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. This is what I wish for. Unfortunately, it is still not a reality today. Now you might be thinking, why is gender equality so important? Why do we need to achieve it? All over the world, people are suffering because of gender inequalities. In some parts of the world, girls still face barriers to receive both primary and secondary education. Men and boys suffer from gender stereotypes. Studies have shown that gender equality has positive effects. In Kenya, for example, when women received the same education as men and had authority over farm work, the amount of crops increased by 22%. And also, the economic losses of girls not receiving secondary education in 65 countries are estimated to be 10 trillion Japanese yen each year. Gender equality benefits not only sustainable economies, but also societies and humanity at large. My interest in gender equality started because of Emma Watson, who played my favorite character in my favorite book and movie series, Harry Potter. Now, are there any Harry Potter fans in the audience? Could you raise your hand if you like Harry Potter? Thank you, and I hope I can chat about Harry Potter with you at the after party. Well, so one day, I was reading a newspaper, and I found an article about Emma. She had given a speech as a UN Women Goodwill Ambassador at the United Nations headquarters in September 2014. She had talked about gender equality and he for she, a UN Women solidarity movement for gender equality. Gender equality is your issue too. I invite you to step forward and to ask yourself, if not me, who? If not now, when? These words in Emma's speech moved me and encouraged me to start thinking and taking action on gender equality. This March, I had the chance to visit the UN Women headquarters in New York and talk to people working there. What they emphasize the most was the fact that gender equality is not discussed much, and action to promote equality is still lacking. They also said that it was very important for us, and especially for young people, to learn, know, and share accurate information. These are the main reasons I wanted to talk to you all at TEDxNagoyaU. And I would like to share with you what I think we can do to achieve gender equality. To achieve gender equality, I think we can start with familiar things to become more aware of the issues. In addition, it's important to share what you think about it with others. I decided to do my own investigation on gender equality to deepen my understanding and to think of ways to achieve it at an individual and community level. For my study on gender equality, first I had to research people's awareness of it and what they thought about it. So I asked my family, friends, and neighbors to answer a survey about gender equality. I asked them the degree to which they agreed with these 3 statements. It is desirable for men to work and women to do the household chores. There are things that I can do for gender equality, and there are times when I think about gender equality. For the first statement, it is desirable for men to work and women to do the household chores. The results were like this. As shown in the graph, I divided the respondents into 3 age groups: 10 to 29, 30 to 49, and 50 and older. And the orange shows agree, and the blue shows disagree. As you can see in this graph, the percentage of men answering agree was very small. However, the majority of women aged 10 to 29 answered agree. I wondered if this was a result of many girls seeing their mothers not working and doing housework. I think this is one way in which they get affected by the historical and cultural stereotypes. I sometimes feel this at school. One boy in my class was good at home economics, a subject in which we learn things such as cooking and sewing. His fellow students called him Mother just because he was good at it. And no one student realized that he or she was constrained by stereotypes. Next, for the statement, there are things that I can do for gender equality, the results were like this. Almost half of men of all ages answered agree. However, more than half of young women answered disagree. This shows that some, and especially young people, are not sure they can do anything for gender equality. But on the other hand, for the last statement, there are times when I think about gender equality. More than half of men of all ages, and also women in most age groups, answered agree. I think it is safe to say that although people do think about gender equality, they tend to think there is little they can contribute. Based on my results, I thought of a strategy to achieve gender equality with these 3 following aims. to raise awareness, to change biased views, and to overcome stereotypes, and to share the fact that there are things everyone can do for gender equality. Based on my results, I designed a program to meet these 3 aims. Because I focused on the household roles of men and women in my research, I planned a role exchange program for families. I asked people who took my survey to kindly take part in my program. In my program, I asked people to first exchange one of their household roles with another member of their family, and then to answer a questionnaire after the exchange to see the effects of the program. So, for example, in a household where the woman always cleans and the man takes out the trash, they swapped roles so that the man cleaned and the woman took out the trash. I asked the participants if they were more aware of gender equality than they were before the program. The results were like this. More than half of men of all ages, and also women of all ages, answered agree. Although a small effect, I am glad to be able to tell you today that my program had positive effects towards gender equality. I also received a lot of feedback from the participants. One male participant said that there were some places a man would not have noticed while cleaning, and that he planned to help with the chores again. One female participant said that she felt it was not always necessary for men's and women's roles to be predetermined. Another woman urged for Japanese people, and especially women, to raise their awareness towards gender equality because they don't realize that Japan is a male-dominated country and that their human rights are being ignored. So, how gender equal is Japan? The World Economic Forum conducts a gender gap study every year, and I would like to share the rankings with you. The first place in the rankings is Iceland, followed by Finland at number 2, Norway at number 3, Sweden at number 4, and Rwanda at number 5. Guess where Japan is? 111th out of 144 countries. Not even in the top 100. Isn't that shocking? This is very low for a developed country, and it is not at all an exaggeration to say that Japan is very far behind on gender equality. To add insult to injury, one male participant in my program said that because he thinks doing the chores and raising children are women's jobs, he is not willing to do anything whatsoever. Of course, the result I had shown you a few minutes ago do not show what all of society thinks. But I think it is safe to say that my program has had positive effects. So, in the program, I asked people to exchange roles, to start with something that is close to them. And the results? Well, you know the rest. But what I'm trying to say is that although gender equality sounds unfamiliar and seems a very distant goal, we can start with familiar things to become more conscious of it. As I share with you today, the reason I started researching about gender equality was Emma Watson. Nothing special. And because of that, I was not only able to start thinking about gender equality, but also run a program and share it with you all today. We can achieve gender equality by starting from things around us. Gender inequality is a huge problem that affects the world. But we can start from familiar things. We can make improvements by making small changes around us. These small changes we make will become a seed for a worldwide movement. So, will you step forward with me? Thank you for your kind attention.